I know. I've lost my fucking mind. TOP? We have TOP at home. So I was at ComicCon Finland a couple of weeks ago and did a Squid Game cosplay. And I literally dragged this with me everywhere for 3 days. Because I love pain. This was my first cosplay in 15 years and it was supposed to be kind of a joke. You know, Namgyu dragging dead Thanos with him. Because I always have the best ideas. But something that started as a joke has now turned into me making TikToks with it. And people have been so supportive. I swear I'll stop. This also ended up being my most popular TikTok, which I think is hilarious. I'm just way too attached to let him go. So now I just have this thing in my house. Maybe I just keep him for company.
What's up? Nice to meet you, my brother.
Maybe I'll just put it in the window. The neighbors can be like, what now? What's next? Never beating the crazy local hag allegations. But yeah, don't mind him. He's just vibing there. So I asked you on Instagram, like, I don't even remember when this was, like 2 months ago. I'm so sorry. To send me pictures of your flea market finds so I could draw them. I always come across the weirdest crap. So I thought it would be fun to see your finds too. Unfortunately, I can't remember who sent which picture anymore, but I want to thank everyone who did, except you who sent me this Donald Trump. You guys remember my earlier flea market video where I drew the gay couple? The sweetest, cutest gay couple that I will regret forever not buying. Well, one of you guys saw a similar couple at another flea market, and I'm like, how? They looked a bit different, but they were still exactly the same characters, and they were together. Like, it's weird and amazing that there are more of these two toys out there, and apparently they're always together. I also love this little turtle giving birth out of its back, and this extremely disturbing Winnie the Pooh. Even he's like, the f is going on? What the f is that? I also didn't know that a live-action bison from Avatar: The Last Airbender was this relatable. This guy I really liked. It's apparently an old thread holder from the 40s, 50s. And I did some googling and there are a lot of different very weird ones. Like, I had no idea. I found a picture that had both a boy and a girl. So I decided to draw them both. They all look like they've seen your AO3 history. So because these are busts, I wanted to turn them into characters with gigantic heads, with arms and legs coming straight out of the heads. Kind of like those little kids' drawings. We call them pääjalkaiset, I don't know what it's in English. And they are twins. I really liked the idea that they are conjoined twins who constantly keep eyeing each other suspiciously.
Bombastic side eye.
Because they're always up to some weird shit. Like always doing something bad. I wouldn't trust them, and I don't think they even trust each other, honestly. I'm not even sure if these are supposed to be kids or adults. Like, he has a pipe, but I guess back in the day it was just common for kids to be, you know, just puffing 24/7. And they would definitely share that pipe. That's why they're looking at each other like that. Honestly, these two seem like the kind of kids who would give you the wrong directions on purpose, and then when you confront them, they would kick you in the shins, blow smoke in your face, and run off screaming. Actually, he would blow smoke in your face, she would start coughing that disgusting little kid cough, and you know exactly what I mean. And then they would run off while you stand there like... I actually got a bit of inspiration for them from the Alice in Wonderland twins, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I always found those guys annoying, and I think these two would fit well into the Alice in Wonderland universe. Or a Ghibli movie, because they also remind me a bit of Yubaba. She's got that giant head and a small body too. I also really can't decide if these two are really tiny or really huge. It would be terrifying if they were the size of a house, but on the other hand it would suit them better if they were teeny tiny and lived in some mushroom house in a garden, since her hat also kind of looks like a mushroom and has flowers growing from it. You know those little mushroom house decorations you can find at cheap stores? That's exactly what their house would look like. Or maybe they live under the floorboards in a seamstress house. They would come out at night and eat bits of thread, slurping them like spaghetti. Maybe they live next door to the old clockmaker. the one who has the clock cat I drew. It's all coming together. I think they look hilarious. I would hate these two in real life, but I like how they look. I intentionally made their arms a bit too long and gave them that like hunched over posture to add to the weirdness. And I wanted their clothes to match their hat colors, so I gave the boy stripes and the girl yellow clothes. And of course, since these are thread holders and in pictures they usually have thread coming out of their mouths, I drew a little piece of thread in the girl's mouth and some small bits of thread on the ground, because they would go out at night to find and eat those. I also thought about giving one of them a sewing needle to carry around. Like they would always have one with them so they could poke others with it because they're little brats. But I left it out and now I kinda regret it. But yeah, I hope you like the thread holder twins. Next I was sent these. They definitely seem like they should be friends. They belong in the same universe, you know, animals with f***ed up legs universe. He sees sadness. He sees everything. So he's a little dachshund with legs made of screws. Not sure if there are more of these out there or if this is just something someone made. I only found one photo online and it might be this exact same dog. I can't tell. But I really like the design and the idea, like how they use the screws to mimic short dachshund legs. I thought that was really clever and cute. For him, those are just a weird choice. The dog immediately reminded me of Surku, or Soryu in English, from the Moomins. They even look alike, and I think they're both dachshunds. And Surku is a sad, lonely dog who feels like he doesn't really belong anywhere, but he loves wolves and wants to join a wolf pack because he sees them as his brothers and hopes they'll accept him. Unfortunately, they try to eat him, so it's not great. But he does get a happy ending after all, so it's fine. So this little guy is kind of the same, lonely and depressed and very different from the others, for obvious reasons. And when I started thinking about his backstory, the first thing that came to mind was something kind of like Pinocchio. Like he used to be a toy dog and someone wished for him to become real, only it didn't fully work and he was left with screw legs and that like smooth wooden body. So maybe his owner didn't want him after that because he looked too ugly and unsettling, so he ran away and has been a stray dog ever since. And you know, he's just the cutest little dog who only wants to be accepted and loved, so no wonder he looks so miserable. Why do I always make these characters so miserable? He looks like that one photo of the seal. But yeah, my idea here was that he's really sad and the only time he feels happy is when he meets someone like him, aka the pig. So maybe he was a city dog who ran as far as he could until he ended up on a farm and met this pig. And it's the first time he's ever seen someone who's like him, and for the first time he feels joy. Like he's not alone in the world. And maybe the same thing happened to the pig. Maybe they were both originally toys that got turned into real animals and things didn't go quite right, so they instantly bond and become inseparable. Or maybe all the pigs in this universe look like this, with their dangly little matchstick legs, and they accept the dog as one of their own and he stays with them. Maybe they are his wolf pack. The toy dog looks like it's made of wood, so I didn't give him any fur. Just made him look really smooth and shiny, which adds to that uncanny valley feeling, like something's off. I love these two. I think they are adorable, like the little wagging tail and happy ears. I'm also really happy with how the screw legs turned out because I had a bit of trouble with them. And I know I could have made the pig look scarier, like the toy, but I decided to keep this really wholesome because they both deserve a happy ending. I also like to think that the cat clock from my earlier video, the gay couple, the twins, and these two all live in the same neighborhood or village. So, what the hell is going on in that place? Like something really weird is going on with the animals and people. So next, these seals were sent to me by two different people, and I thought it was funny how they're both so f***ed up looking. Like she's kind of cute, but there's not a single thought behind those eyes. At first I was only going to draw the baby, but then I thought that these could basically be the same character, you know, as a pup and then grown up. And then I started thinking about the story, like what happened to her and why she looks like that, because something really bad must have happened to her to grow up looking like that. And I didn't know anything about seals before this. So again, I did some Googling and I found out that seals, depending on the species, can wean their pups as early as 4 days old. Poor f***ing things. Like, some of us leave their pups alone only for a while and then come back, but some pups are completely on their own, long before they're fully grown. So no wonder she looks like that. She's seen some horrible shit. At first I thought maybe her mom had died and she'd been orphaned, but the reality turned out to be even worse. So yeah, clearly something very bad has happened in between for her face to end up like that. I'm sure baby seals face all kinds of dangers when they're, you know, left to survive on their own. Predators, seal hunters, starvation and different diseases. So I guess she probably escaped from a larger animal or a human and got badly injured in the face. So I gave her large scars around her mouth, and I know it doesn't exactly make sense because scars would eventually heal, and this seal has clearly a severely mutilated face. But this is not meant to be so damn realistic. I just wanted to make her look very creepy and stay true to the original toy. So she was attacked when she was very young and she survived, but her wounds never fully healed. And I think that when she grew up, she really isolated herself, believing the world was a dangerous and cruel place. Yes, and she no longer wanted to be a part of it. And eventually she sank deeper into madness and became kind of like an urban legend, the seal with mutilated face. I used this photo as a reference for the background. I find it very unsettling. It's both bright and very dark, and those plants look extremely scary to me. They give the feeling you could get tangled up in them and eventually drown. So that's like really creepy to me. And this seal would definitely live in a place like this, completely hidden away from the rest of the world, only coming up to the surface to breathe. I don't know how she's supposed to eat those fish with that mouth. Maybe she sucks them in through the gaps. So yeah, I really like this one a lot. I really like the bubbles and how they add a lot of movement to the seal, and the atmosphere turned out really well. Like, she really gives me the creeps. And you know, she's cute. She's also really depressed. Like, she sank down all the way to the bottom of the water after being attacked. Like, everyone hates me. It's like, it is sad. It's also a bit goofy. So here are all the characters I drew. Let me know which one's your favorite and feel free to come up with names for them. Or if you have any headcanons about them, I would love to hear them. I think my favorites are probably the twins, especially her. There's just something about her that I really like. And I like the backstory I gave them. I just love characters that are little shits. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, thanks to everyone who sent me pictures. I got a lot of them and I definitely want to make a part 2. And you can still keep sending them. If you find anything weird, cute, funny, creepy, whatever, please send me photos because I would love to see them and possibly draw them. So yeah, thanks for watching this. I just keep hanging out with my skeleton, thinking about, you know, where my life went wrong. Check out my previous video. Or actually don't. Be sure to subscribe and as always, stay adorable guys. And I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye. So, this is my life now.